Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey. Okay. This is where the fun starts happening. So very exciting stuff. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
We'll be getting to everybody in just a few minutes and just give all these autopilots jumping on as well. And we got everyone joining us. We got Linda. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you.
We got
Happy to be here.
Carolyn Zwieben. Paul, I'm glad you got your wife's account up there. We got Kenny in California. We got Aton floating somewhere around the world. Andy Neal. Andy, where are you? Orlando? Yep. Okay, got the thumbs up from him. And we're going to give everyone just a couple minutes. Going to be talking about this, just a couple things. We've got no meeting on Friday, but we have other meetings coming up next week. All those will be announced. If you haven't booked your coaching session with me, we really do need to get together and actually talk about your business plan. I understand. Did anyone hear that they moved this NARA thing instead of July to August? Paul, you want to expand on that? You know, I know you've got your fingers on the pulse.
I think they moved it to like August 17th for the changes.
August. Was it approved by the courts yet?
I don't believe so.
No. Okay. So now it's no longer July, it's August. Good news. Whoopee. We have a little bit of time. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. And again, I'm going to have more and more of these meetings about strategies to work with the buyers. Paul, I'm going to love your feedback for something like that, which is going to be very, very big, to be able to get right into it and to be able to talk. Also on June 21st, I've got Maria Babayev in June. Maria is a top producer from Long Island, and she's going to be talking about just what she's doing to expand her business and what's going on with all of that. Of course, we get the latest technologies and all the shiny little objects that all of you just love when it comes to dealing with all that. But right now, today, we're going to talk with David Ravitz. David's actually out of my office. He was 2018 or 2019, David?
2018.
Okay, got to think about it now, right?
Yeah. It's that long ago, right?
So 2018, Bachelor in Paradise, and on the Bachelorette. I won't explain too much more on this. And David, why don't you give us a little bit of perspective? I know you. First of all, welcome. This is REIGNation. I'm grateful that you came. I know you had worked initially in finance. Give us some perspective. How did you get into the whole reality TV stuff?
Yeah. So, originally from South Jersey, just outside Philly, had traveled around a little bit and, worked in finance, and I had, I was doing some venture capital work. We'd levered up, and it was perfect timing for me to, venture into getting my MBA. And I had like a summer to kill. One of my buddies just tossed in my application for the Bachelorette in like, December, January. I was on the golf course one day, got a call from ABC. Hey, we got this application, like, would love to chat with you. I had no idea. Like, all right, I mean, this sounds kind of cool. A phone call turned into flying out to LA a couple times for some interviews. And the next thing you know, I was walking out of the limo on the Bachelorette. All happened very quickly. And for me, it was perfect timing because I never wanted it to mess with my career. I never wanted it to interrupt. But it just so happened that I had some time to kill before getting my MBA at the University of Miami.
Sure.
So it was a great experience, and happy to talk more about it.
Okay, good. No, it looked like a lot of fun. I also know for a fact that you are the only person in Bachelor history to dress like a chicken.
Yes. So here's how that all unfolded, right? So
Okay.
you spend just to to kind of high level, what actually goes on, right? So you get there and you spend about 5 days before you actually go to film in like a little hotel room. You're meeting all the producers. They have your phone. You're disconnected from the world. And you're chatting with all the producers and getting to know everyone on the crew. And you kind of just develop what are you going to do for when you walk out of the limo? I'm like this, I want this to be a super fun experience. I don't want to take it too seriously. I understand my chances of actually quote unquote falling in love with a girl are under 5%. right? And so let's just have fun with it. So yeah, we iterated an idea to walk out of the limo in a chicken suit.
Okay. And that was good. And it was a strong visual image because again, when I met you, I said, wonder what season it was. I'm not like a reality show guy. I'm like the chicken guy. That was him. I'm like, okay, now I met this guy. I like him. I
Yeah,
really want to get him on here. So thank you for that.
yeah,
You know,
no
fast
worries.
forwarding to
Of
all this,
course.
and I'm sure people will have questions about the whole reality experience, if you will.
Yeah.
You got a bit of a leg up, most of us would think, on getting a personality out there. You know, the typical human,
No,
according
for
to a
sure.
sociologist, has about 450 people in their sphere, about 150 people that they could depend on a regular basis. Meaning people talk about that whole first degree of 6 degrees of separation, that we have certain people in first degree. For example, Eitan's my first degree, David, now you're in my first degree, I'm in your first degree. Suddenly, when we imagine reality TV or any mass media, you've got a great recognition. How has that come into play when it comes to being a real estate salesperson today, or has it?
Yeah, no, for sure. So I wish I had gone into real estate immediately after the show instead of going to get my MBA, right? So right after the show, you don't realize how big of a reach the show actually has until you get done with it. I'm done filming, I'm done filming Bachelor in Paradise, and I'm walking through the airport. The first or second episode had just aired, and I could feel the eyeballs, right? It was just one of those like out of body experiences for about, I don't know, 6 months to a year. You walk anywhere, and it's not that I'm famous. It's just, very recognizable. You're on a show that's on ABC, and you don't realize how many people actually watch it, right? So you go to a restaurant, a bar, especially in Miami, there were people asking to take pictures and wanting to talk with you and hear about the experience. So hindsight, wish I'd gone right into real estate because my network was massive at the time. Still has been very helpful, right? The reach, if you look at, Ed just talked about concentric circles, right? My outer concentric circle grew exponentially just from being able to have the visibility and have that reach, right? So yeah, I don't post a ton on social media, but the social media thing grew exponentially as well. So as far as has it helped me? It's absolutely only helped me, not hurt me, right? So I could be in a showing, I could be representing a seller client, a seller, and a buyer walks in, and it's just an immediate, if it's recognition, fantastic. It gives us a talking point to get us through the conversations and connect on some level.
Sure.
So and that kind of ties back into how social media has really taken over. And has become so influential, especially in this business. The eyeballs and the visibility, people recognizing you, understanding who you are before they actually meet you is massive.
Sure.
It just gives you such a leg up. I remember one time I was in an elevator, and we were on the way to the showing, and I was with a wife and a husband, and the husband kept on looking at me like he knew me.
Mm.
And this is right before the showing, and I said, all right, yeah. I told him about the show. Oh, that's where I know you from. On and on and on, and it just like it deflated the balloon and just made everybody really comfortable. So it's kind of cool to find some common ground and a common denominator. Really
Sure.
helps.
Well, look, and I think ultimately that's what we're trying to preach here is what's going to actually give you the leg up in the business. If you could break the ice with something like, hey, I was on a reality show, I think that alone is a value. And that alone is something that could really be very, very big. You said it didn't hurt you. There's never been an incident where some husband said, oh, I don't want that good looking guy talking to my wife, or, because I get that a lot. I wish that wasn't the case. I mean, I just say to people, whoa, back off, Harvey Weinstein. This doesn't happen naturally. But anything like that go on with you? Has there been any,
I think it'll always. No, I mean, like, look, I think reality TV always carries like this negative connotation of, oh, this guy can't be serious about business, or, that kind of that sphere. It will always carry it. But the second someone meets me, right, that goes away. I also am never the first person to bring it up. right? I'll always wait for someone else to bring it up. And if, if they say, oh, I know you from somewhere, I'll always say like, oh, this, or, oh, where did you grow up? Blah, blah, blah. I'll never immediately jump into the Bachelor. I think that could be hurtful, right? Then it comes off as you're this pompous, pompous person who's trying to brag on and on. I'll never end up bringing it up, but when it comes up, I'm happy to talk about it. I know I went through a really cool experience, and it'd be like a naive and of me to not want to talk about it.
See,
So I understand that.
There's where you're wrong. I would tell everybody, look at me, look at how great I am. I do that now. The fact that I know you, hey, look at me, I'm terrific. I'm just kidding. So let's open this up. I do want to make the tie-in to real estate, because that's what all this is really about. I want to go out, especially I'm going to talk to my friend Paul here, who I haven't seen in a little bit, and it's good to have you here. He's also huge on social media, but as it relates to business, Paul, you always bring in, well, tell everyone who you are and a bit about your past, and everybody could then get a greater understanding of why I'm bringing you into this here.
Sure. Hi, everyone. So Paul Zwiebin, my wife and I are the Zwiebin team with about 6 other agents on the Upper West Side of New York City. We cover all of New York except really the Lower East Side because it's too darn far. I was a chef for 18 years of my life. I was in the restaurant business for 31 years. I made a career change at 42. And used so much of my past experience to apply to my current job. It's really, really helped a lot with so many things. So that's my elevator pitch.
Okay, but with regard to having been a chef and Hungry Domain, and a lot of the social media that's actually going out there, talk to us about that. Talk to us about your best year as far as revenue on the team, and B, what has your personality been as far as helping you bridge that gap and get to that kind of success?
Our best year, we did like 120 million. And it was a good year. I mean, it was a really good year, but we've also had years where we've done, significantly less. I try to do social media posts where, it's sometimes I'll do some shorts on food, what I'm cooking at home. Sometimes I'll just like on Facebook say, you know what I feel like having tonight? I want to have prime rib, the end cut, well done. I want it salty. I want it, baked potato with whatever, jalapeno cheese and fresh jalapenos and cream spinach, whatever. And people like that stuff because it connects with them. Of course I talk about real estate. Of course I talk about my family, but it's all sort of intertwined. So it keeps me relevant.
Okay. And based on what David's saying right now, is he playing the way he's playing it at this point, that he said that he should have gotten into it right after if he really wanted to get the bounce? Would you be doing it the same way? And again, I'm not here to give David any advice. He's doing great. But I'm just curious to see what would you do as far as social media goes at this point with a past success? Because I think that you've had that past success in your world. I'm trying to make a correlation between the two. I know you weren't expecting the question, and I'm not going to embarrass you.
I mean, I think if you put some humor into it, just like, hey, I used to be the Bachelor or whatever, and and here I am selling real estate all over Florida, but definitely keep it in your press packages, your pitch packages. And I would also say that when you're doing pitches is to bring it up to people. Just look, this is what I did in the past.
But he's avoiding that.
I think you should.
You think he should? Okay. Well,
again, now.
Okay, let me put on some real shoes. I'll be right out.
Terry, we hear everything. Yeah, I'm muting Terry here. Okay. So again, this is not group therapy for David. That was not what it was. I'm just trying to see if we could take it a step further. David, how many followers do you have on social media now?
Roughly 20,000, thereabouts.
20,000.
And look, it's one of those things that I should absolutely lean into. I don't post as much as I as I should. And at its peak, I might have had 50,000, right? So it was a cool tool. One morning I had 500, and the next I had 50,000. So it's
Okay.
kind of cool.
Okay. And just going back to the show a little bit, did you fall in love with The Bachelorette?
I didn't.
You
No.
didn't? No love
No.
connection?
There was. I have a lovely wife now who we met online, but no, I didn't fall in love with The Bachelorette, and I didn't find love in paradise either.
You didn't find, did anybody? Does anybody
My
find love on these
season.
things? Is that's
So
what I want to know.
yeah, I mean it's a good question, right? So you always wonder, how do these people fall in love so quickly, blah blah blah, right? So here's kind of the flow of it. You're on the first show for 12 weeks. It's about 10 weeks of filming. You have nothing to do except talk about the girl or talk about your life, right? No phones, no computers, nothing. So you're in this bubble, and you're so 10 weeks feels like 10 years.
Yeah.
And so the love you see and the friendships that you see, like all that stuff is very real. The drama, not so much, right? It's very produced, very, very steered, especially the shows where there's not money involved. The production can get involved as much as they want. A show like Survivor, the production has to take a step back because there's money involved. So the
When
storylines
you say
and
money,
that
there's a prize.
prize, exactly. A prize show is much different than a pure drama show. So I like to say like 70% of it very real, like 30% of it, produced and kind of storyline driven. But yeah, the love and whatnot, like it's all in such a vacuum, and so it's quite very, very real.
Wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting that answer. Anybody not
Which is
expecting that
interesting.
answer?
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
And then you see like those relationships fall apart when you get done the show and you get into real life and you're outside of that vacuum. And for a lot of folks, it just doesn't work. I think like 95% of the relationships have failed. Right. And so it makes sense when you're outside of, that bubble.
Do you know of any relationship born on reality TV that is like a very strong, happy marriage, something that, like a Carolyn and Paul's Weaving type of good relationship
There are
here?
a few. Yeah, there are a few from the Bachelor franchise, I think.
Hmm.
It doesn't happen often.
Okay. Yeah. Just curious about that. Guys, I
Mhm.
want everyone to get a pen out and note a date that's coming up. This is not a REIGNation event. This is an ed event, and all of you are invited. It's something that I'm absolutely passionate about. I have 2 survivors from the Nova concert in Israel that was attacked on October 7th, on May 21st at 10 a.m. on Zoom. I am absolutely passionate about world events, and they're willing to talk about their perspective. They actually are extremely peaceful people who have always wanted a 2-state solution. So it's a very interesting thing. Again, it's a complete left field from what we're talking about, but I can't help it. I got 27 people that are watching me here, so I'm going to let them know that that's what is going to be. Please note the date, and we can talk about that. Let's talk about business here as far as what's gone on in the past few weeks. Who here has had like some social media success? Actually, I want to pick on Delaney. Delaney, could I pick on you?
Sure.
You want to tell everyone who you are and where you are?
Yep, I'm Delaney Morgan. I'm in Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay. And you've had an extremely strong social media presence, at least from my perspective. I don't know do you agree with that statement?
I'm trying to. I recently I hired a VA to help me with some editing and to getting it out there, so I can kind of focus a little bit more on making the videos, and they can kind of worry about how it gets perceived out, to the public.
Are you tracking business directly back to that effort, or do you consider it like a layup or an assist? Like, talk to me about that.
Or I think it's more of an assist in the way of a lot of my business comes from my sphere. So, for example, my followers either on like Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. I think it enhances their memory of me being an agent versus, just if I'm just posting personal stuff. So I think the goal is to brand it bigger than my sphere. So people who are outside my sphere will essentially recognize what I do. But right now it's just helping with the people I already know.
Okay. and helping with the people that you already know, do you think you could directly attribute that to the success of real estate sales? I mean, I know that there's the assist, but would you be making less if you weren't doing what you're doing?
Sorry, sounded like a trick question. I don't.
No,
I think
no,
it
no
does
tricks
only
here. No,
help.
no, I'm here for you to win. Okay, I'm not trying to. Oh, gotcha. That's not me. So.
No, I do think I can attribute it to at least one deal so far, since I've only been consistently doing it for about 2 months, as far as consistently as I want to. So I do feel like it's helped.
Okay, so we're gonna now pick on Terry. Terry, tell everyone who you are and where you are. You got to unmute. Terry. You can't here. I'm going to ask you to unmute. You got to push that button. It's the button. Terry, push the button.
I'm on my phone, and my stubby fingers don't work well on my phone. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfectly. Thank you. So one video stands out above all the rest, and that's really what I'm trying to get to. Now, you know what I'm thinking.
I know the one you're talking about. Yes.
Okay.
I'm Terry Robinson with Douglas Elliman Real Estate. I work the coolest place in the world, Brooklyn, and I have a series of videos called Thank You Brooklyn, where I go to different places in Brooklyn that I think are iconic and indigenous only to Brooklyn, and say thank you Brooklyn, and the reasons why. So the video that Edmund is talking about is in Dumbo, the loft neighborhood down on the East River. I was talking about excuse me, the neighborhood, and thanking the Lord above for Dumbo, and saying, did you know that the East River is not a river, that it's an estuary, a saltwater estuary? Well, this little tidbit of information that I thought was just a toss away thing exploded. And Edmund, that was what, 3 or 4 years ago, and
Sure.
People were still talking about it. So they call it a river, it's an estuary. Native New Yorkers did not know that, and it still is giving me traction for doing some throwaway line like that.
Yeah, well, and again, because it's something, I have a series that I call Making You Smarter. And it goes back to David as well, that you're trying to let people into some insights that they might not have known. And well, it's, life is not all that exciting. There, I said it. There's some exciting moments, but on a day-to-day basis, people do like to get and learn and be able to utilize these things. I mean, whether it's a reality show or your reality, I think that this is really kind of important. Have you tracked sales back to that?
It's kind of tough to do. You make these videos, you put them out into the ether. What I have found is, like, when I go on pitches and such, it used to be when you did a lot of mailers and your mailer was on the refrigerator. You knew that you send these things out, they cost thousands of dollars, but it worked because you're on their refrigerator and they called you when it came time to do a pitch. The videos are kind of the same thing. I've been in the same neighborhood for decades now, and people will stop me and say, oh, you just, that new restaurant you opened up, you did a thank you Brooklyn for the new restaurant, and blah, 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 blah. So have I tracked it specifically to sales, to business? I am not at that place where I can do that right now. I feel like as long as people are talking, that will lead to business.
Okay. Look, I'm trying to make the media, whether it's reality shows or social media, some type of tie-in. If you have questions, you could put your hands up or just let me know. We've got David Ravitz from it was Bachelor in Paradise, and it was the Bachelorette. Is there?
Yeah.
Is there like going to be a Bachelor reunion? Get all the bachelors together and have like a brawl or something, or some football game, or I don't know. It just seems like a great opportunity. If I was ABC, that's what I'd be thinking about. Maybe. Yeah, who knows? Okay, I hope so, because we'll all be talking about that if that's the case. What else? Questions that we have? Let's open it up. Eddie, Kenny, Brenda. I'm reaching out there. Tough crowd. Tough crowd. Well, David's running away here. You see?
No, I'm listening. I
fuck
just
with you,
needed to.
David. You got to get used to me. I fuck with everybody. That's my thing. I
do have a question.
Listening. I just needed to plug my computer in.
Okay, yeah, battery's about to die. Brenda, go ahead. Brenda, tell everyone who you are and where you are.
Brenda Wolf. I'm in Hoboken, New Jersey, and deal with Hudson County. I've been consistent, probably now almost 2 years on my Instagram, And it's like slowly been growing. I think I'm like 15, 60, followers, whatever. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I get more followers? My insights are usually pretty good, but it's like, I'd like to see, higher viewing and things like that. And when I see like people I know or my clients, they're always like saying, I love your videos, they're great. And I'm like, okay, how do I get this really out there?
And how many followers do you think you have?
I think it's 1,560. Something
Okay.
like
And you met them one by one? You put them all, how did you get them?
they either knew me and started following me, or they just, I mean, sometimes I would go to like establishments, restaurants, bakeries, they started following me, because I do that in my video and tag them.
Here's the thing, your 1,500 people are gold. Don't ever forget that. That's a
A lot of
huge,
my realtors too.
for you to have gathered
That's
that many, basically we'll call it organically. There's some people that buy their leads, and I think that's a big mistake. So that's been very good. Have you been able to track any business back to that?
No,
Not at this
really.
point.
And then I just said, it's a lot of them are realtors, but I guess, when I say that, I remember that those realtors could be referrals one day.
Huge.
Right.
All of you, ask Eddie Glantz. The guy gets business all the time from other realtors. Believe me, you need to do that. So what was the question?
Oh, that was kind of my question. Just how do
How
you
did she
get
get more?
what do you do to get more followers or more and some business maybe from it? Because I always joke with my clients, they're like, oh my God, I love your videos. And I go, yeah, I've gotten so much business from it. They're like, really? I'm like, no.
Okay.
How do you get more followers and better insights and get it out?
Paul wants to jump in, but David, you were about to say something?
Yeah. So I mean, look, everyone's looking for like that viral hit, right? To get the million view, or the million, the video with 1 million views, 2 million views, right? But it's a slow trickle. One of the things that I've found when I'm actually like really active with it is just going to the explore page, and it'll pop up with things you like, and commenting on different people's pages, right? And then you do that a couple times, and then they're inclined to follow you. They come check out your page, right? So it takes a lot of effort on your part, not just posting, but also interacting with other people, right? So it just random people. It could be people real estate adjacent, could be restaurants, or whatever it might be. But interacting with them, commenting on their stuff, that's and then they're quicker to follow you. Yeah, it's a slow trickle, but over time you start getting that viral, that viral nature of it.
Did you say something, David, about explore page?
Yeah, so I'll show you. So you're on Instagram.
You want the screen, David?
It's okay. Yeah, so if you're on Instagram, just go to that little search bar right there. You can see.
It's hard to see because your screen's
blurred.
Your background's
blurred. Hang on 1 sec.
And then we'll get to Paul. He had a.
All right, so so you pop open Instagram, right? Just click on that little magnifying glass at the bottom.
Yeah.
And this is the explore page, right? The algo picks up whatever you're looking at recently, right? So I'm in the middle of renovating a couple of houses. You can see that like it's populating with kitchens and whatever, and I'm into sports, right? So it will populate with things that you're looking at, and that's how you can find different accounts there, and things that you're interested in.
Okay, I never thought of that because I have a lot of dogs in here because I love dog videos.
Okay. Yeah, dogs.
There you go. Right.
That's big.
I don't know if dogs will come.
The algo knows.
Paul, you were about to say.
Hi, Brenda. I don't know if you do it or not, but LinkedIn, I try to share almost everything that I do on YouTube on my LinkedIn page as well. So what it'll do is not only will you get hits on LinkedIn, hopefully, and comments, but it's also going to go back to your YouTube channel because you shared it from YouTube. You could also share the YouTube video on your Facebook, on your Instagram, like whatever you want, but that'll help build searchability, especially with Google, and you'll get more traction. I think LinkedIn at some point is going to be very good for me. I don't know when, but I share all the time up there.
Yeah. LinkedIn goes largely unmentioned, but guys, it really is a secret weapon. Daniel, Eitan, we're going to be talking about a little bit more LinkedIn, I think, as we as we go on. I think that there's just so many, it gets ignored. One thing that I want to share with everyone, a social media channel that I started, it's called St. Andrews Members. It's on Instagram. It's a private page. The only people that could join it are the people who live at St. Andrews Country Club or the adult children of the people that live at St. Andrews Country Club. And Brenda, going back to you about the following, I only have like 250 followers on that. But those are 250 people that matter. These are 250 people that get my weekly email because I send them a weekly blast. Daniel's going to work very hard at getting that out with me today. They get a physical mailing. They join that group. I think there's a certain value to actually surrounding your followers, and there's a reason for people to actually join. You see what everyone's talking about here, and one thing you could say, whether it's The Bachelor or any of these others, people have a motivation for wanting. There's something that they want out of that. There's a value. And all of you have asked me the question, how much is too much communicating? And I'll go back to saying, when you want to hear from somebody, if it's a date, or they can never communicate too much. You want to spend hours talking to them. Now, if they're annoying, anything they put out is going to be annoying. So the challenge becomes, how do you actually get content that people are going to really, really like? And we're going to talk about the types of content that have been produced. Again, I keep mentioning Terry with his estuary and, different things. Sometimes just a little thing actually hooks. And what you do with those people after the fact is really a big, big factor. And I think it's extremely important. Who else? What other, do we have other questions here before we get to wants, needs, and brags? Anyone? Eddie, are you about to say something? No, Delaney was like,
I
always say something.
I was just gonna say, Brenda, can you share your Instagram handle to the chat?
Sure.
Yeah, everybody put your Instagram handle up on the chat if you want to be followed by each other. And when I say followed, I mean not in a creepy sense. Yeah, actually, David, I always wanted to ask that. Did you get any stalkers?
Yeah, you come across them a little bit.
Yeah,
the weird DMs and the people that, especially in Miami, you'd come across some, kind of odd folks. You'd be at the wharf on a Friday night and, be a little iffy, but yeah, you come across some interesting people, definitely.
Yes. You don't get anyone that says something like, oh, that jacket that you have in your closet is much nicer than the one you're wearing now. You don't get anything like that, do you? I mean,
one of the things is like, and especially important as we all try to grow our socials, there's so much noise out there. And for me, it just got louder when, coming off the show and whatever, like you're always going to have haters, right? There are always going to be people that are like, oh, what's this person doing with this video? Like, but then for every one, person that hates on you, there are going to be 15 people that like it, 20 people that like it, right? So, it's just about avoiding the noise and staying in your lane and knowing that you're pushing the ball up the hill and it's going somewhere. That's kind of what it was like, at least for me. One of the other things is I kind of just remembered about it. I just remembered it, and highly recommend. There's this book called Contagious. It's by Jonah Berger. It talks about social currency. So for me specifically, right, this my journey on The Bachelor and whatnot, it provided me a high level and a ton of social currency. People are so inclined to want to talk. They want to tell you about the next coolest thing. So in this book, I always reference it, right? In Philadelphia, there's a restaurant called Barclay Prime. It has $100 cheesesteak. The restaurant's okay. It's a good steakhouse, whatever, but they have a cheesesteak that's actually $100, right? So, you're going to have it and sure, you're going to like it, but the next day you're going to tell 10 people about it. And that's kind of what we're all looking for in experiences and kind of daily life. So, I'm going on a couple showings right after this, right? I know I'm going to go see cool units and a great beachside condo. I'm probably going to tell, 5, 10 people about it during the day. So the more experiences that we can have and the more social currency we can gain, it's sometimes almost more valuable than, monetary currency. Highly encourage the book. It's a great read.
Contagious
by Jonah Berger.
And Daniel, if you could get that into the chat, if you could find that, you'll be my best friend. That's great. And I did read Contagious. It's a great read, and it is really important. It's interesting you bring that up. My honeymoon, which is what is it, June 24th, 99. That's gonna be 25th anniversary. Okay, so 25 years ago, when we had the honeymoon, we went to London, Paris, and the south of France. And we went to Monaco one afternoon to go to Louis XIV. It's known as the most expensive restaurant in the world. Well, I read the dinner menu and I decided that might be a little steep. So I went to lunch and I wound up spending at the time, and this is again 25 years ago, $400 for lunch. And we don't really drink, okay? Just to put that in perspective. And I'm like, wow, you are such a schmuck. Why did you go to this fucking thing in the first place? And I just really couldn't understand that. But that reputation did draw a lot of people, and it's contagion. I'm glad you brought that up, because really it can be just one hook, whether it's the estuary that Terry was talking about, or I think Paul we brought up Paul being a spin sister. You know, the stories that you guys have told us over the years of the different business that comes about, it really is quite remarkable. Okay, who else? You know, we're going to get to wants, needs, and brags here. Anyone? Okay. Wants, needs, and brags. This is the time of the meeting where I give you the opportunity to tell us something that you want, something that you need, and something you'd like to brag about. It could be a charity that you're involved in. It could be a big deal that you actually were able to accomplish. Now's the time to actually do it. You've got 24 other people that are here watching you, and all of them could be a lead source. And that means you're going to want, who's going to want to speak right now?
Me.
Take that. Okay, Eddie, go ahead. Eddie Glantz, tell everyone where you are.
Yeah, Eddie Glantz. I'm in the mountains of Western North Carolina, and I promise you guys from all over the country, there are folks moving here, and you're missing out on business, because you know folks that are moving here. You're not getting their business. I'm not getting their business. Let's work together to do that. But I've got two properties in particular that are great mountain homes, great views, incredible houses, great properties that I can put on the REIGNation site. But definitely ones to look for, and to see if you have any clients that might be interested.
Okay, I love it, and I love your voice.
Well, thank you very much.
I know that. I know I joke about sounding like Foghorn Leghorn and all the cartoon characters, but man, that's I genuinely love your voice. I love listening to you talk. Okay, so that's Eddie Glantz. If you don't know him, you really are missing out. He's a great guy. Who else?
Hi, this is Hedika.
Hedika, tell everyone who you are and where you are.
I'm Hedika Azizi. I'm from Long Island, New York.
Okay.
Actually, I'm in Florida right now, and I'm heading to see the launch of the thing. So I'm very excited.
To see the launch of
I'm next to Cape Carnival.
The rocket. You're going.
I'm 20 minutes away, so I'm driving there now, and I'm just going to get a crazy Instagram and post it probably. I'm very excited.
Okay, so good. What time's the launch?
I think it's 10:41, something like that. 10:40, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I'm 20 minutes away. I can actually see it from here next to the beach, but I want to get as close as possible.
I've seen it before. It's exciting stuff. I'm happy for you.
Should I get as closer as possible?
Well, just like, like bring an umbrella in case the fire is falling or something.
Oh, really? That's wow.
No.
I'm very gullible. So
I'm kibitzing. Doesn't everyone get the whole kibitz thing? No, you're going to be fine. Go as close as they'll let you. You're going to be fine. You're going to have a great time, and definitely post it on Instagram, and everybody like.
Yeah. Okay.
There.
Okay. Okay.
Eitan, you have your hands up. Eitan, gotta unmute there, buddy. He disappeared. You gotta push the unmute. There you go.
No, it's not. My hand was not up. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. No worries. Okay, anyone else? Okay, guys. Look, like I said, the next meeting is going to be on Friday. David, you're a great guy. I'm grateful that you came in and spent the time with us here today. If everybody does have their social media and you want to be followed by one another, you could post it on the REIGNation page. You could send it to Daniel at Bogan Homes, and we'll get the word spread. And lastly, if you are one of our coaching clients and we don't have an appointment this week, please, 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 let's get that booked, because I really do need to have time put in the schedule to make that work. David, thank you so much. It was really good seeing you here.
Thank you, guys.
Terry, are you ready for your?
I'm ready.
Okay, this is the exciting part here, which makes me say, I'm really glad that all of you came today. It sure is good seeing you, and I look forward to seeing all of you next time on another exciting episode of
REIGNation.
Mazel Tov.
Love it.
Terry,
Bye,
thank you so
everybody.
much.
Have a great week, guys.
Thank you.
Have a
guys.
good week,
David,
everybody.
thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.